Most people think positive thinking is about pretending things are fine, ignoring reality, or forcing yourself to smile through pain. But that surface-level interpretation misses the entire point. Real positive thinking isn't delusion, it's discipline. It's the ability to hold on to clarity when your world is shaking, to focus on possibility when your environment offers none, and to choose power over pity even when darkness surrounds you. It's not naive, it's calculated. A person who trains their mind to find calm in chaos is not weak, they are lethal. Because in a world that thrives on fear, drama, and negativity, someone who remains grounded in optimism becomes untouchable. Positive thinking doesn't mean you ignore pain. It means you respond to it without letting it define your path. It's about recognizing what you can't control, then doubling down on what you can. Your focus, your beliefs, your actions. It's about starving the patterns that destroy you and feeding the thoughts that build you. This isn't about fake hope. It's about weaponizing your mindset so that no matter what happens, you stand tall, you think clearly, and you move forward with strength. Because the truth is, your mind becomes your battlefield long before the outside world ever sees the war. And if you don't control your thoughts, they will control you. This is why mastering positive thinking isn't soft, it's survival. Positive thinking has been misunderstood for decades, reduced to motivational quotes, empty affirmations, and feel-good slogans that fade the moment life gets hard. But in its true form, positive thinking is not about plastering over problems with blind optimism. It's about choosing a state of mind that empowers you to act, adapt, and endure. It begins with understanding that your perception is the first lens through which reality is shaped. And if that lens is clouded with negativity, self-doubt, and fear, then every challenge becomes heavier, every setback feels permanent, and every moment is filtered through a distorted sense of powerlessness. But when you train yourself to see adversity as a sharpening stone, to view discomfort as a signal for growth, and to interpret uncertainty as potential rather than threat, you stop being reactive and start becoming intentional. This mindset doesn't mean ignoring darkness, it means refusing to become it. It means you're no longer controlled by external storms because you've built internal weather. That's what real positive thinking is, not a fantasy, not denial, but clarity under pressure, control over reaction, and strength rooted in how you choose to interpret the world around you. When you understand that positive thinking is a mental posture, not a performance, you finally begin to see it for what it is, the foundation of all emotional power. The power of positive thinking begins deep within the mind, rooted in the way you interpret and process your experiences. We are all wired with default thought patterns, most of which are negative. This isn't an accident, it's human nature. Our brains are designed to protect us, and historically, survival meant focusing on threats, problems, and dangers. In the modern world, however, this survival mechanism often works against us, creating a mental landscape filled with anxiety, self-doubt, and a constant fear of failure. When these negative thought patterns dominate, they cloud our judgment, hinder our ability to see opportunities, and limit our potential for growth. The key to breaking this cycle lies in rewiring the brain through consistent, intentional practice. By actively choosing to challenge your automatic negative thoughts and replace them with thoughts of possibility, you begin to reshape your neural pathways. This process doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of continuous effort, conscious self-awareness, and mental discipline. It's about recognizing that your thoughts are not facts, and that just because a thought arises doesn't mean it has to define you or your actions. Positive thinking in this context is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about consciously redirecting your mind towards solutions, opportunities, and actions that move you closer to your goals. Over time, this shifts your brain from a constant state of alarm to one of calm focus and resilience, making positive thinking a tool you can rely on when life feels uncertain. Reprogramming your brain isn't easy, but with patience and practice, you can break free from the chains of negativity and create a mental environment where growth, clarity, and peace become your default. Most people believe that pain is something to escape, suppress, or avoid, but the reality is, pain is one of the greatest teachers you'll ever encounter. The difference between those who stay stuck in suffering and those who rise from it isn't the pain itself, it's the mindset they bring into it. Positive thinking doesn't mean denying that you're hurting. It means choosing how to respond when the storm hits. It means recognizing that the way you interpret pain has more power over you than the pain itself. When something breaks your heart, when you lose control, when life pulls the rug out from under you, your first instinct is to collapse. But positive thinking teaches you to pause, breathe, and observe. It reframes pain not as a dead end, but as data, information about your limits, your patterns, your values. And when you approach that discomfort with awareness instead of resistance, it stops being a threat and starts becoming a forge. Your strength is built in the moments you stay present with the hurt, not when you run from it. Positive thinking doesn't remove the hardship. It reshapes your relationship with it. It transforms setbacks into stepping stones. It trains you to ask, what is this pain trying to teach me? Instead of, why is this happening to me? This shift doesn't make you immune to suffering, but it does make you resilient enough to navigate it without being consumed by it. Pain will visit all of us, but when you meet it with a mind trained to grow instead of shrink, you turn what was meant to break you into the very pressure that refines you. That's the hidden power of thinking positively. It's not about escaping the dark, it's about learning to carry light through it. The most brutal war you will ever fight is the one inside your own mind. The voice that questions your worth, magnifies your failures, and convinces you that you'll never be enough. This inner critic doesn't come out of nowhere. It's a product of past experiences, rejection, shame, and years of absorbing negativity from the outside world. But what most never realize is that this voice isn't a truth teller, it's a distortion. And if you don't confront it directly, it becomes your default narrator, poisoning your potential from within. Positive thinking begins with separating your identity from your thoughts, understanding that you are not your insecurities, your mistakes, or your emotions. You are the observer behind all of it. The voice in your head that constantly tells you you're falling short isn't wisdom, it's fear disguised as logic. And when you let that fear run unchecked, it shrinks your vision, keeps you frozen, and convinces you to settle. Silencing the inner critic doesn't mean pretending those thoughts don't exist. It means learning to challenge them, dismantle them, and replace them with a stronger internal dialogue rooted in truth, not trauma. It means speaking to yourself with clarity, with grounded honesty, but also with strength. Instead of saying, I always mess things up, you say, I've made mistakes, but I'm still growing. Instead of, no one cares about me, you say, even if they don't show it, I control how I show up for myself. Positive thinking gives you back the microphone. It puts you in charge of the story you tell yourself. Because when you control your internal world, no outside opinion, no rejection, and no failure can define who you are. You become untouchable, not by avoiding negative thoughts, but by refusing to let them lead.
One of the most powerful but misunderstood elements of positive thinking is detachment. Not the cold kind that numbs you from life, but the disciplined kind that sets you free from emotional slavery. You see, most suffering comes not from what happens to you, but from your inability to let go of what you can't control. Positive thinking doesn't mean everything goes your way. It means you stop needing it to. It teaches you to stop tying your peace to outcomes, to people's approval, to timelines that don't serve you. It breaks the cycle of obsessive overthinking, of grasping tightly at what's already slipping, and instead teaches you the quiet strength of surrender. Detachment isn't weakness. It's a form of inner dominance. It says, I can want something without begging for it. I can love without losing myself. I can walk away when something violates my peace. This mindset shifts you from reactive to responsive, from being at the mercy of life's chaos to meeting it with calm, rooted awareness. When you detach, you no longer get dragged by emotion, you direct it. You see things as they are, not as you need them to be. And from that clarity comes incredible power. Positive thinking in this context is not a sugar-coated denial of pain or uncertainty. It's the discipline of choosing perspective over panic, presence over possession. When you master this detachment, you stop being a prisoner of outcomes. You still care, but you don't crumble. You still feel, but you don't fall apart. And in that space, where your peace is no longer held hostage by what happens outside of you, you finally become free. The next phase of mastering positive thinking is learning to control your focus. Because where your focus goes, your energy follows. And most people waste their mental energy obsessing over what's missing, what went wrong, and what could go wrong next. This habitual fixation on negativity doesn't just drain you, it shapes your entire emotional state, keeping you locked in cycles of anxiety, resentment, and fear. But the mind, like any tool, can be trained. When you discipline your focus, you reclaim your power. You begin to consciously shift attention toward what builds you instead of what breaks you. That doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to stop feeding what weakens you. Positive thinking becomes a weapon when it's tied to deliberate focus. You begin your day scanning for what's working instead of what's lacking. You interrupt spirals of self-doubt by redirecting your thoughts to progress, however small. You learn to find gratitude not in grand moments, but in the quiet victories. Showing up when it's hard, staying calm when you used to break, choosing growth over comfort. This mental posture rewires your nervous system. It keeps your body out of constant fight or flight, builds emotional endurance, and allows you to stay grounded when life throws chaos your way. You don't get stronger by fighting every thought. You get stronger by mastering where you place your attention. Positive thinking isn't some feel-good habit. It's the art of mental reallocation. Taking your limited cognitive resources and investing them into thoughts that actually lead somewhere. Focus is fuel, and when you learn to guard it, redirect it, and aim it with precision, you stop being a victim of your thoughts and start becoming the architect of your state. To fully embody positive thinking, you must also upgrade your environment, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Most people underestimate how deeply their surroundings shape their thoughts. Every conversation, every piece of content, every subtle interaction feeds your internal world, like a stream feeding a river. And if that stream is polluted with negativity, constant complaining, toxic comparisons, drama, fear-based narratives, then no matter how disciplined your mind is, it's swimming upstream. Positive thinking is not just an individual effort. It requires ecosystem control. You have to become intentional about who and what has access to your mind. This means setting boundaries with people who drain your energy, minimizing exposure to content that breeds fear or self-hate, and surrounding yourself with ideas, energy, and environments that reinforce clarity, peace, and growth. You don't need a perfect circle. You need a clean one. You need space that reflects your inner values, not just your old habits. This also means curating your internal environment, replacing automatic self-judgment with internal encouragement, shifting from reactive self-talk to grounded self-command. Even your physical space matters. When your room, your phone, your schedule reflect chaos, it leaks into your mind. Everything is connected. Positive thinking becomes sustainable when your environment supports your evolution instead of sabotaging it. You're not weak for being influenced. You're human. But the strong ones take full responsibility for what they allow around them. They don't just protect their energy, they engineer their lives to multiply it. When you master your environment, both outer and inner, positive thinking stops being a practice and becomes a way of life. A quiet, stable foundation that nothing external can shake. The final transformation in mastering positive thinking is when it evolves from something you do to something you are. A deep internal posture that's no longer dependent on effort, but embedded into your identity. This is the moment when your default response to challenge is perspective, when your reaction to rejection is redirection, and when your first instinct in the face of uncertainty is trust instead of panic. You don't arrive here by accident. You arrive here through repetition, through choosing positive thinking not once, but hundreds of times in the moments it would have been easier to break. Over time, your nervous system rewires itself to expect stability from within instead of chaos from the outside. Your emotional baseline changes. You no longer chase external events to feel okay. You create your own calm. You no longer seek constant validation. You know your own worth. And you no longer fear loss because you've already found the one thing you can't lose: inner alignment. This is where real power lives, not in pretending life is easy, but in proving you can stay grounded when it isn't. Positive thinking at this level isn't naive, it's strategic. It makes you more resilient, more adaptable, more magnetic. People feel your energy without needing you to say a word. They see the calm in your eyes and sense the weight you've carried without collapsing. You become a reminder to others of what it looks like to walk through fire and still speak with peace. That's what this is all about. Not just controlling your thoughts, but becoming a person whose very presence carries strength. Positive thinking isn't the absence of darkness, it's the decision every day to be the light. If this message found you in a storm, let it be your reminder. Your mind is not your enemy. It's your kingdom, and you decide who sits on the throne. Positive thinking isn't about pretending everything is okay. It's about reclaiming your right to create peace in a world that thrives on distraction and noise. You don't need permission to heal. You don't need the world to change before you do. What you need is commitment. To wake up each day and choose presence over panic, strength over spirals, and direction over drifting. If anything in this video spoke to you, you're not alone. You're part of a growing community of people who've had enough of living at the mercy of their past and are ready to become masters of their future. So, if you felt the weight of these words, don't just watch, act. Comment below with the one line that hit you the hardest. Subscribe if you're ready to step into that next version of yourself. And remember, the war is not outside, it's internal. But if you can win the war in your mind, you can handle anything life throws at you. Stay grounded, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.